Breaking right now, the British royal family mired in one of its biggest crises in history. For months, tension within the royal family has simmered beneath the surface. But nothing could prepare the world for this shocking twist. Following the chaos surrounding Prince Andrew, Prince William has reportedly taken a decisive and unprecedented step, stripping Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and their children, Archie and Lili, of their royal titles. This move isn't just symbolic. It's a seismic shakeup that threatens to redefine the monarchy's image forever. But what exactly drove William to such extremes, and what consequences will this bold act unleash within the palace walls? Prince William's ruthless vision. In the quiet of his study, Prince William sits, calm yet calculating, a future king burdened by survival, not sentiment. With his father's health waning and the monarchy fracturing under scandal, he sees no room for weakness. The crown, bruised and questioned, must be reforged through ruthless resolve. Behind gilded doors, he maps out reform like a general at war. Determined to protect the throne, even at the cost of kin. To Prince William, mercy has become a luxury the monarchy can't afford. His first move to erase Prince Andrew completely, title, presence, and influence, exiling him from the Britain he once disgraced. But that's no easy task. Such a move would require Parliament's approval, a legislative hammer blow that would echo through history. Still, William seems ready to swing it. This is not the act of a vengeful son, but of a leader in waiting who believes the crown must be protected at all costs. And in his sweeping vision, the purge wouldn't stop. And unfortunately, there's still a lot of stigma around suicide. With Andrew, the Sussexes, Prince Harry, Meghan, and their children, Archie and Lili, could soon find themselves titleless too. Their royal identities, once a source of global fascination, might vanish like mist in the morning sun. William's reasoning is clear. Birthright means little if loyalty is broken. The crown, in his eyes, cannot coexist with rebellion. The idea is as daring as it is divisive. Royal insiders murmur in disbelief. Courtiers shift uncomfortably in their seats. Yet some, like outspoken royal commentator Brittany, voice what others whisper in private. William's absolutely right. She declares, Harry and Andrew are ticking time bombs for the monarchy. Stripping their titles is bold, but it's what must be done to secure the future. Still, even the boldest moves come at a personal cost. Behind the steel of William's public demeanor lies a man torn between love and duty. His relationship with Harry, once the picture of brotherly affection, now feels like a distant memory. He mourns it quietly. There's no hatred, only hurt, a deep ache that his younger brother chose defiance over unity. He knows, too, that Harry and Meghan could have thrived within the royal fold if they'd only chosen cooperation instead of confrontation. Their public criticism of the family, their interviews, their tell-all stories, each one has chipped away at the trust that once bound them. For William, that betrayal stings almost as much as the headlines that followed. Still, his loyalty to his father remains unshaken. I've been up to 65-0. 00 FT once in a plane, and that was truly terrifying, and that's high enough for you. Do you go way less? Watching King Charles battle cancer has been heartbreaking. He admires the old man's composure, his unwavering sense of duty, but he also recognizes that sentiment cannot dictate the monarchy's future. The crown must always come before comfort. William's plan is not just about damage control, it's about evolution. The monarchy, he knows, is struggling to keep up with the times. Its presence on social media feels awkward and outdated. Its digital strategy almost non-existent. The world has changed and so must the royals. In his eyes, pruning the family tree is a necessary act of renewal, and he's ready to go even further. Tradition, once the monarchy's backbone, may have to bend. Rumors suggest that William is even questioning aid, old roles like serving as the symbolic head of the Commonwealth or the Church of England. These institutions, noble as they are, might no longer align with the fast-paced, globalized era he envisions. His monarchy would be leaner, more focused, and undeniably modern. Of course, traditionalists recoil at the thought. To them, the crown's power lies precisely in its continuity, in the ancient rituals and unbroken lineage that tie Britain's past to its present. You know, getting it right and all that stuff. There's a lot of male pressure, I think, around all that sort of things. Yet even they can't deny that William's vision carries a rare clarity of purpose. He sees not a fairy tale monarchy, but a living institution that must adapt or die. So here he stands between love and legacy, holding a crown that weighs heavier than it gleams. His choices may spark outrage or admiration, but one thing is certain. William's reign, when it comes, will not be a quiet one. Intriguing, isn't it? A prince turned reformer, a family divided, and a monarchy at the edge of reinvention. The question now is not whether William has the courage to follow through, but whether Britain is ready for the king he's about to become. So why would William be the one to strip them of royal titles? Does he now have full control? What about King Charles? Did he approve of William's decisions? Let's delve into the details of the transfer of power from father to son. The palace power shift. Behind the gilded palace doors, a quiet but undeniable revolution is taking shape. A slow, graceful transfer of power from a weary king to his watchful, determined heir. King Charles's health has become an open secret among those close to the throne. His recent appearance in Manchester was both moving and melancholic. A frail monarch smiling through exhaustion, determined to serve despite the toll of relentless treatments. It was the portrait of a man clinging to purpose, yet fully aware that time may not be on his side. The truth whispered in corridors and splashed between cautious headlines is that the center of gravity within the monarchy is shifting. Prince William's influence grows by the day, his authority increasingly visible even without a formal crown. Those near the family say he's deeply frustrated with his father's attempts to heal old wounds. Charles's efforts to reopen the palace gates to Prince Andrew, Sarah Ferguson, and even Prince Harry have not sat well with him. Each attempt at reconciliation, William believes, has ended in more leaks, more media storms, and more emotional strain on the institution itself. Grandmother, there's been plenty of moments. I think the earliest he warned his father, an insider sighs. But Charles's heart is softer than his son's. For the king, unity is a final mission, a chance to leave behind not just a crown, but a family at peace. But William's perspective is colder, sharper, and deeply pragmatic. To him, the monarchy's survival depends on tough love and ruthless clarity. He's not thinking of dinners or reconciliations. He's thinking of headlines 50 years from now of a monarchy lean enough to endure modern scrutiny. Royal expert Brittany summed it up well. William's preparing wisely for his future reign, loving his father, yes, but protecting the dynasty above all else. The contrast between father and son could not be starker. Where Charles sees sentiment, William sees structure. Where Charles extends olive branches, William sharpens pruning shears. Whispers from inside royal circles suggest that this father-son tension is not just philosophical, it's turning constitutional. According to journalists like Tom Sykes of the Daily Beast, William is already working behind the scenes on plans to reshape the monarchy once it's his turn to rule. One of his earliest moves, they claim, may be to issue new letters patent, a formal royal decree stripping HR, His or Her Royal Highness, titles from non-working royals. It's not mere symbolism, it's a redefinition of the royal brand. If these plans unfold as expected, the implications could be seismic. Princess Beatrice, Princess Eugenie, Prince Harry, and even Harry's children. I think it's safe to say that change is on my agenda. Change for good. Archie and Lilith could see their titles quietly erased from official records. It's not personal, says one observer. It's strategic. William's vision is a monarchy that's slim, focused, and scandal-proof, one where only those who serve the crown publicly bear its weight. Meanwhile, the likes of Lady Louise and James, Viscount Severn, children of Prince Edward and the Princess Royal, already live contentedly outside the glare of royal status, serving as quiet examples of the path William prefers. Even his own children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, might one day follow this path. Rumors suggest that William and Catherine, mindful of modern pressures, may park their children's royal titles until they are old enough to choose for themselves. In other words, the next generation of Windsor might grow up as ordinary citizens first, royals second. This approach mirrors a bold decision made by Denmark's Queen Margareta, who famously stripped her grandchildren of royal titles to give them freedom, not formality. It caused ripples in her family, but won public praise for modern realism, something William quietly admires. For now, the king faces an uncomfortable dilemma. Should he act decisively and reshape the family while he still reigns, or should he leave it to his son? I've long been inspired by President John F. Kennedy's 1961 mission to put a man on the moon, who will likely move far more ruthlessly. The choice will have global consequences, especially across the Atlantic, where Meghan Markle once insisted that her children's titles were their birthright. Legally, she's right. As grandchildren of a reigning monarch, Archie and Lili are automatically entitled to them, but legality and longevity are two different things. And William, with the authority of a future king, can rewrite the rules with a single stroke of his pen. And so, behind the palace's ornate walls, history stirs again, the echo of a timeless struggle between legacy and reform, heart and duty, father and son. Charles dreams of healing, William dreams of survival. One seeks unity through forgiveness, the other through discipline. Between them lies not just a family dispute, but the future shape of the British monarchy itself, fragile, evolving, and always watched by the world. What prompted William's decision to strip these royals of their titles? Let's delve into the details of the scandals that shook the monarchy and the perpetrators of these scandals. Unpacking the Andrew Epstein web, diving deep into the tangled story of Prince Andrew, a saga that has dragged on for more than 20 years, staining the British monarchy with waves of embarrassment. Scandal and disbelief. What began as the tale of a brave naval officer and Falklands War hero slowly morphed into a chilling chronicle of arrogance, denial, and disastrous choices. Andrew's fall from grace reads like a tragic play. A prince once adored for his charm and daring transformed into the monarchy's most controversial figure. His connection to the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein remains the darkest chapter, one that turned his royal life into a long, painful cautionary tale. Around him swirled a series of poor decisions. Because I have no, again, I have absolutely no memory of that photograph ever being taken. Sarah Ferguson's questionable money deals, the infamous Epstein payments to her, and the unsettling evidence of moral blindness that haunted their circle. Author and royal biographer Andrew Lowy doesn't mince words when he says the story is far from over. He argues that genuine accountability must replace polite silence, that it's not enough for Andrew to retreat quietly from public duties. Looney believes a full reckoning is needed, a permanent exile abroad, the formal stripping of every honor. And 97% of those 931 are still operating today, and they're still growing, and perhaps even a reopening of criminal inquiries by the Metropolitan Police or the National Crime Agency. The prince's retreat from public life, he warns, should not be mistaken for justice. More fuel was added recently when claims surfaced that Andrew had tried to pass on Virginia Jeffrey's private details to others, allegedly to dig up dirt and discredit her. Though still only under informal investigation, the allegation has reopened old wounds and revived calls for a deeper probe into how much the palace knew and when. As one insider nicknamed Brittany bluntly put it, Andrew's time as a trade envoy deserves a microscope. Too many deals looked like they were done for his personal benefit, not for Britain's. It's a sharp accusation, and one that resonates beyond the UK. Across European monarchies from Spain to Norway, royal spares have sparked scandals of their own. reinforcing the need for a modern royal code of conduct with real penalties attached. If royals ignore restrictions like the no HR order and face no consequences, the entire institution risks losing its moral authority and ultimately its relevance. But one can't tell this story without acknowledging the press, the same force that exposed the scandals and shaped their aftermath. Back in 2011, journalists at News of the World broke the now famous Central Park photos of Andrew walking with Epstein. That revelation shattered years of quiet cover-ups, forcing the monarchy to confront what it had long hoped would fade away. Behind closed doors, many in the establishment wished to suppress the images and silence the questions. Yet, once the truth reached the public, there was no going back. Still, the media's role wasn't entirely noble. The hunger for headlines turned Andrew into an easy villain, and in doing so, the press often ignored other powerful figures who mingled with Epstein. In the United States, wealthy and influential men, names like Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and even TV anchor Katie Couric managed to emerge with little scrutiny. Ghislaine, Maxwell, and Andrew became the perfect scapegoats, absorbing the fury the public wanted to unleash on the untouchable elite. Ironically, Couric herself once attended an Epstein dinner after his release from prison. Yet she now publicly praises Harry and Meghan for breaking free from royal constraints, a gesture that reeks of selective morality. Andrew, for all his faults, had one chance to clear his name in court. Instead, the palace stepped in. According to multiple reports, senior aides urged him to settle quietly, not because they believed him innocent, but because a prolonged trial would have overshadowed the late Queen's Jubilee celebrations. The royal image came first. Andrew's reputation became collateral damage. He paid the price financially and reputationally, but the full truth never emerged under oath. This isn't to defend his choices, far from it. Andrew's conduct, arrogance, and lack of empathy have rightly destroyed his standing. Yet, if the pursuit of justice for Epstein's victims truly matters, the focus must go beyond one disgraced prince. Accountability must also reach across the Atlantic to those billionaires and power brokers who escaped public reckoning. At least King Charles took decisive action against his brother, stripping him of duties and titles to protect what remained of the monarchy's integrity. It was a painful move, one that few other royal households have dared to take when faced with similar scandals. In the end, the Andrew affair stands as a warning written in royal ink. Privilege without conscience leads not to legacy, but to disgrace. Why has William been so merciless to his uncle, Prince Andrew? Was it just the disgraceful crime he committed? Could there be a deeper rift between them? Let's dig into the details of how Prince Andrew got into Prince William's black book. The remark that broke the bond, whispers within palace walls tell of a feud colder than marble. Prince William's quiet war with his uncle, Prince Andrew. Once fueled by nasty remarks about Kate Middleton, it has hardened into lasting estrangement. Andrew, long disgraced by scandal and exile, deepened the divide with cutting words about the Princess of Wales. In entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, biographer Andrew Looney reveals jealousy as the root. Resentment of Catherine's rising stature after the Queen's death. What began as careless spite now lingers as one of the House of Windsor's most personal wounds. Kate has been the family's saving grace. Looney once said, "It's hard to imagine anyone speaking unkindly about her, but jealousy is a powerful thing." I would have thought Prince Andrew of all people would respect William as the future king rather than be nasty about his wife. The details of what exactly Andrew said about Catherine remain undisclosed. No direct quotes have surfaced, but according to sources close to the palace. William's disappointment was immediate and profound. He has always been protective of his wife, whose calm dignity and sense of duty have earned her both public admiration and royal respect. To hear his uncle, already mired in scandal, speak ill of her was a line he could not overlook. It wasn't the first time Andrew had caused unrest within the royal circle, but this seemed to cut deeper. William has a very strong sense of public duty, Looney explained. He's working tirelessly to keep the monarchy stable, to keep the show on the road. He believes in doing things the right way, and the last thing he needs is his uncle stirring more controversy. In recent years, William has increasingly stepped into the role of a stabilizer, supporting his father, King Charles Roman III, while managing his own growing responsibilities as Prince of Wales. Within this framework of quiet reform and renewed purpose, Andrew's presence has been viewed as a threat rather than an asset. Everyone is pulling together, Charles, Anne, Edward, William, and others. Lili said, but the entire family has been let down by Prince Andrew. The tension isn't just emotional, it's practical. Sources close to the royals claim that William has already decided Andrew's future within the monarchy. There isn't one. The Duke of York, once a full working member of the royal family, will reportedly never return to public duties under William's reign. Both he and Kate are said to see him as a risk and a liability, not only because of his personality, but also due to the damaging associations he carries, most notably with Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender, and with Yong Tangbo, an alleged Chinese spy. These ties, which once rocked the monarchy's reputation, have made Andrew an uncomfortable figure to defend. For William, whose entire image depends on transparency, accountability, and modern leadership, Andrew represents the old wounds the family would rather leave behind. Adding fuel to the fire, the Duke's living situation has also become a point of tension. Since 2004, Andrew has lived with his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson at the Royal Lodge, a grand residence on the Windsor estate. But according to Lili, William would like to see that arrangement come to an end. He, that is, William also loathes Sarah, Andrew's ex-wife, and can't wait for the day his father throws them both out, a source claimed in the biography. And if Charles doesn't do it, the first thing William will do when he becomes king is to get them evicted. This revelation paints a picture of a future king determined to clean house, to draw a firm boundary between the institution of the monarchy and the family members who have tarnished it. While Charles has been more restrained, perhaps out of compassion for his brother, William is reportedly less forgiving, more pragmatic, and deeply aware of public perception. Observers believe the feud between uncle and nephew is now beyond repair. The Duke of York, once dubbed the Queen's favorite son, now finds himself isolated within the very institution that once defined his life. Prince Andrew's daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, maintain occasional contact with their cousins. But even those relationships have reportedly cooled as the family's focus shifts toward rebuilding the monarchy's image under Charles and William. For Kate, caught at the heart of this storm, the episode has only reinforced her graceful silence and quiet resilience, traits that have won her the admiration of the British public. She has neither addressed the alleged remarks nor responded to the tension they caused. Yet, her continued strength beside her husband speaks volumes. The royal family has survived wars, abdications, divorces, and scandals. But the rift between William and Andrew underscores a more modern kind of struggle. The fight for credibility and moral authority in an age where public opinion can make or break a monarchy, and as the Windsor look toward the future, one truth appears unshakable. Under William's reign, there will be no place for Andrew in the inner circle of crown. While William did not limit his iron fists on Andrew, he seemed to have extended it to his blood brother Harry. Could Harry and Meghan pose an equal or greater threat than Prince Andrew to the monarchy? Did Prince William take the move just to settle old scores? Let's find out. The bigger threats and a monarchy's fight for survival as the dust of scandal and speculation refuses to settle around Buckingham Palace. One haunting question echoes through the gilded halls and late-night strategy rooms. Who truly threatens the future of the throne? Behind closed doors, whispers from seasoned courtiers suggest that the most dangerous storm is no longer Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, the once reckless duo who long embodied royal disgrace, but rather Harry and Meghan, self-exiled couple whose actions continue to shake the House of Windsor from across the Atlantic. For decades, Andrew and Fergie were the easy targets, symbols of indulgence, arrogance, and failure. Andrew, once hailed as a daring war hero, has become a portrait of decline, a man stripped of purpose and position, surviving in quiet shame. Fergie, his former wife, turned her notoriety into hustle. She sells stories, writes books, and somehow always finds her way back into royal headlines. Yet, despite their flaws, neither has sought to destroy the crown itself. They are relics, disgraced. Yes, but loyal to the idea of monarchy. They have accepted their exile as the price of past mistakes. Harry and Meghan's story, however, is not one of retreat, but rebellion. Once beloved as the modern face of royalty, their exit from palace life has turned into something far more disruptive, a sustained campaign. Some insiders believe to rewrite the royal narrative in their own image. Pair wield their titles as both shield and weapon, monetizing their royal connection while accusing the institution of cruelty and neglect. It's a bold paradox, profiting from the very system. Condemn, in contrast, Andrew's forced silence after 2019 has almost worked in his favor. By vanishing from the public eye, he became less of a threat, an embarrassment rather than a danger, as royal. Commentator Jessica Britton notes, Andrew became the scapegoat because he remained visible when others disappeared. But Epstein's reach went far beyond him. Even the crown princess of Norway once crossed paths with that dark circle. The Epstein scandal may have faded from front pages, yet its ghost lingers, refusing closure. With both Jeffrey Epstein and Virginia Jew now silent, unanswered questions keep the public fascinated and furious. The monarchy, desperate to protect what remains of its credibility, has learned that every unaddressed shadow becomes tomorrow's headline. Inside Clarence House, King Charles Roman III feels the mounting weight of duty and legacy. Rumors of declining health, whispered words like terminal illness, make his decisions even more pressing. He dreams of reconciliation, of seeing his fractured family whole again before it's too late. But sentiment alone won't save the crown. To preserve the monarchy's future, the king must act with the precision of surgeon, purge what's poisonous, strip away privileges from those who weaponize them, and enforce the discipline that monarchy demands. Prince William, by contrast, stands ready to make those hard calls without hesitation. Observers say he has studied other royal houses across Europe, those that streamlined, adapted, and survived modern scrutiny. William's version of monarchy will be leaner, sharper and less forgiving. To him, blood alone no longer guarantees belonging. Loyalty does. Meanwhile, chaos brews on the sidelines, Meghan's latest PR push. A terror interview that backfired spectacularly only deepens the rift. The couple's relentless pursuit of media sympathy continues to clash with the palace's ironclad silence. In this digital age, perception is power, and monarchy has struggled to master that battlefield. For every dignified photo of William and Catherine, a viral clip of Meghan's grievances steals the spotlight. Still, amid the turmoil, one truth stands out. Fergie, with all her antics, never tried to dismantle the family she embarrassed. Her stumbles were personal, not political. Meghan's, some argue, feel intentional, echoing the late Princess Diana's tragic path, but charged with modern defiance and commercial savvy. The monarchy stands at a crossroads, digitally behind, emotionally bruised, and yet still gripping centuries of mystique. The coming years will reveal whether King Charles can unify, or whether the crown's survival will depend entirely on William's resolve. And so the world watches. Each headline, each leak, each subtle move from Monteto or Windsor feeds the growing fascination. The royal saga is no longer a family story. It's a global drama about power, loyalty, and survival in the public eye. Stay tuned for more revelations, especially on Substack, where we break down Meghan's latest campaign and the palace's silent counterattack. One thing's certain, this royal storm is far from over. The monarchy has weathered wars, divorces, and death, but never a challenge quite like this. What is going to happen next? The next chapter seems utterly unpredictable and absolutely captivating. Do you think Harry would appeal his brother's decision, or just resign to fate? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.